My friends, the information that you are about to witness from all of my years of research is the most important. It's been hidden in plain view the entire time. This is the ultimate secret.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Kennedy died at 1 p.m.
Upon a time, there were two little girls who lived in peace.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation. Every day, our senses are being constantly bombarded by subliminal messages that are found in TV, movies, and advertisements. The subliminal messages we are subjected to are unrecognizable by the conscious mind and only recognizable in our subconscious mind. The messages and imagery are passively absorbed and then stored in our subconscious, where propagandists deliberately implant artificial thoughts, which in turn can affect our actions and attitudes later in life. Experiments have shown that less than 1 minute after the viewer begins to watch television, the brain switches from beta-level consciousness, associated with active and logical thought, to alpha level, which is associated with passive acceptance and suggestibility. This is why advertisers spend billions of dollars a year on commercials, as well as product placement within TV shows. Political messages are implanted in fictional TV programs as the relaxed, meditative state of the viewer is receptive to the programming. One example is AMC's Breaking Bad television series, as it depicts a meth villain as a Ron Paul supporter.
I looked him up. It was one of these physicists, one of Hitler's guys, a physicist named Werner Heisenberg. Real cute, huh?
In a basic college-level marketing class, in your first year of radio, television, and film, at least for me, and then I've seen some other textbooks and curriculum and found it's also in those, but most RTF schooling teaches you that they have had subliminals for at least 70 years in the United States and Europe. And so, yes, there is subliminal messaging everywhere. It is all over the place. It's an absolute fact that they flicker it at a rate, and that they have the televisions designed for that rate to bring you into a dreamlike state. I mean, it is a fact that within minutes, you go into a dream brainwave when watching television. Go read a book by the father of modern advertising, Edward Bernays, where he calls you a dumb slave and admits they run your whole life. I've read both his major books. One of them's called Propaganda. Edward Bernays.
The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed Our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we've never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized.
Now, I also mentioned, too, that a fellow that has been in touch with me for an awful long time, his brother was in the CIA, or is in the CIA. He will never talk about the CIA to him. He'll never give anything away whatsoever, except one bit of advice. He said, never watch the television. Never watch the television. It's the greatest scientific indoctrination tool ever devised. Haven't you figured that out? It's changed the whole culture of nations, not just one nation. Why do you think it was mandatory that everybody in Britain give access to televisions by the government? Why do you think China is under the same program to get everyone with a TV right now? Because they love to have you entertained. Do you really think that? And India is on the same route as well right now too. Most of your ideas and your opinions and how you emulate, because you emulate things, you mimic what you see. As Charles Galton, Darwin and others have said in the past. It becomes you, you become it. And that's what's happened. It's been very, very, very successful. Never watch the television. You can't watch a movie unless you do it critically. If you watch it critically, not there to enjoy it. Remember what they say, it's your emotions that get you on. And it's interwoven, all these emotional themes all through movies. You're played like a harp. And they embed ideas into you, along with the movies, and predictive programming too, so you'll accept that which is still to come. And you'll behave the same way as the characters in the movie when it comes. Oh well, what can you do? I'll just watch much music or television. Yeah. You're given a mind of your own, and you've got to use it for yourself.
Mind control is one of the tools that they use. How they get you into the condition to be controlled is by using certain signs and symbols, frequencies, tones, colors, shapes, numbers that they hide subconsciously in the frequency of the music and in the 23rd frame, I believe, on TVs and the movies. Look at the movie-going experience. We go in and we buy butter, popcorn, and Coke. You're actually buying cocaine, and you're buying this chemical called popcorn. Why do I call it a chemical? That butter is not really butter. But when you put it on the popcorn and you put it in the microwave, it becomes a chemical that lulls your subconscious mind to sleep. Inducing you and lulling you to sleep, so by the time you walk into a dark movie theater, you're already prepped. You're laying there, you're damn near dozing off. You're focusing in on a screen in the dark with the surround sound, and they're attacking your subconscious mind with frequencies and images. Go to The Arrivals on YouTube. The Arrivals. A-R-R-I-V-A-L-S. The Arrivals. Go to number 10 and watch it through number 12, and you'll see exactly how they pull this off. When you leave the movie theater, you're almost punch drunk. You leave the movie theaters with your breast filled, wanting to be the hero, or wanting to be the damn damsel in distress, wanting to be a corny white girl that fall down in every damn horror flick. Are you following me? So we have to understand it. So now to the small screen, they keep the small screen filled with nonsense. Channel Zero, I wrote a song with Public Enemy. Channel Zero is what we call it, which actually amounts to absolutely nothing. I don't care if it's the daytime stories or these unreality shows or MTV Cribs, Pimp My Ride, or whatever. Absolutely nonsense.
If you watch cable, don't do it, because one of the implementations is the box that you have to get for your cable TV. And that is one of the ways that they have found out that certain sound waves can control you.
So there are sound waves. There are sound waves that come out of the cable box.
So that comes out of your TV.
That come out of your TV.
They can tweak it to where they can make you feel sad, they can make you feel glad. You know how people have those super harmonious CDs that pop in everything, they feel good?
Yeah. Oh.
It's the exact same thing.
Exact same thing.
And it's very simple. It's very cheap. It works.
And you pay a monthly premium for it.
It's a very simple equation here. They control by controlling the information that people receive. If we are going to, and we are in the process of dismantling this, then alternative information that tells the truth about the movie and exposes it needs to get out there. Now, everyone has got a mouth. Everyone. And everyone's got a voice box, or virtually everyone. And therefore, we can articulate and pass this on. And so, you know, it's ridiculous to say there's nothing we can do. We can get onto radio phone-ins on radio shows that don't talk about this and bring those issues into the debate. I think they've realized that there is a challenge coming here. And people are, in increasingly vast numbers, are so open to this. I tell you what it is. This is why it's so important to communicate this stuff. Is the number of people who come across this information that didn't know it existed, and they go, do you know, I thought that was going on. I've always thought that. But they haven't talked about it. And then they realize that their friends thought like that too, but they haven't talked about it either. We need to start communicating this, and then we'll realize just how many people out there are actually of like mind.
Visions of Martin Luther staring at me. Malcolm X put a hex on my future, someone catch me. I'm falling victim to a revolutionary song. The Serengeti's clone. Back to put you backstabbers back on your spinal bone. You slit your disc when I slit you my dish. You wanted to diss but jumped on my grown. Men never should bite their tongue unless you eating that smell like it's a stale plum. Visions of Martin Luther staring at me. If I see it how he seen it, that will make my parents happy. Sorry mama, I can't turn the other cheek. They wanna knock me off the edge like a widow's peak, And she always told me pray for the weak, Them demons got me, I ain't prayed in some weeks, Dear Lord, come save me, the devil's working on. He probably clocking double shifts on all of his jobs.
Satan knows that secular songs glorifies sin, because while you're listening to it, sin is on your mind, like lust, partying.
It's that time of the week, she like to freak a leak and get naughty. Therefore, I like to thank God and Ice Cube for Friday, cause la-di-da-di.
Drinking, smoking, violence,
I ain't never touched the gas that I couldn't shoot,
and rage. Satan promotes the different styles of music with a secular artist, like hip-hop, rap, R&B, pop, rock, and metal.
Like off-the-record interview, he was being interviewed for Ozone magazine. This is why I say Lil Wayne is the devil. It speaks for itself. I want y'all, first of all, I want to say one thing to y'all. Y'all know tattoo tears. When people say they have tattoo tears, that means that they have murdered someone before. And that's what Lil Wayne is implying in this audio. But I mean, it's way more in the audio. Just listen. I want you to drop the music too, Red Chris. Drop the music. Drop the music. I want the Tri-State to really hear this. Philly, Jersey, Delaware. This is the man you love, Lil Wayne. Listen.
We don't play no with that. I'm not gonna rap about you, and I will murder you, your family, your child. If it's a newborn, I don't give a f. I could never go to hell because I'm gonna take over.
You'll murder a family? You'll murder a child? You'll murder a newborn? Through songs y'all request on the radio? That's who you let your children listen to, people? Huh? That's who y'all idolize? That guy? Are you serious?
See? The Illuminati says you have to be born of fire. The lower chakras, the lower energy. Are you following me? I'm wrapping this up in a second. He had to be born of fire. And Kanye West, and back me up on this, Kanye West said it recently, didn't he? What did he say? He said he couldn't wait on God. So he sold his soul to the devil.
Honestly, too scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal. I sold my soul to the devil. What?
In other words, he made an oath with the devil. Say music is your life and you controlled by the devil.
Now you see him wearing the Baphomet. Demonic energy. You've heard of Aleister Crowley's slogan, do what thou wilt, is the whole of the law. This is their slogan, all right? Don't pay attention to the laws that were laid out. Pay no attention to God, your elders, your ancestors, but do what thou wilt is the whole of the law.
Frightening, so frightening enough to drive a man insane. I need a license to kill. I'm standing on a field full of landmines doing the moonwalk, hoping I blow up in time. Cause 2012 might not be a legend. Who said a black man in the Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. Never liked the system. Who said a black man in Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. Last time I checked, we was racing with Marcus Garvey on the freeway to Africa till I wrecked my Audi. And I want everybody to view my autopsy so you can see exactly where the government has shot me. No conspiracy, my fate is inevitable. They play musical chairs once I'm on that pedestal. Frightening, so frightening enough to drive a man insane, a woman insane. The reason Lorraine don't sing, or Kurt Cobain loaded that clip and then said bang. The drama brains crazy, product of the late 80s, trying to stay above water. That's why we shun the Navy. Pull your guns and play me.
This man Zbigniew Brzezinski was speaking before the British Council on Foreign Relations, and he was telling this group of elite called the Illuminati, we have lost control of the masses of the people. Listen to what he said. He said, for the first time in human history, almost all of humanity is politically activated, politically conscious, and politically interactive. There are only a few pockets of humanity left in the remotest corners of the world that are not politically alert and engaged with the political turmoil and stirrings that are so widespread today around the earth. They're upset because Satan is losing control. Listen to what he said. In earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people than physically to kill 1 million people. He said, today it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control. So what are they saying? They are planning the death of billions of human beings on our planet. Through the food, through the water, through the air, through disease. You have never thought that you would see the time that famine would be in America. But my beloved brothers and sisters, it is written in the scriptures that one day, you will look at your little fat babies with the thought of eating them. Stop for a moment.
Where for over 80 years, the elite of the Western world have talked about adulterating food and water to sicken and sterilize the population for the purpose of eugenics. It's all covered in the book Eco-Science, written by the White House science czar John P. Holdren, where they talk about a planetary police state to carry out the forced sterilization. They also talk about covert systems in the water and food to sterilize the population. Now, this was written decades ago, before he was White House science czar. Now, suddenly, the stuff in this book is all over the news. They're selling it to the public as if it's a good thing. You see here before you what an average person would buy when they went shopping at the store. Not everything here is bad for you, but much of it has compounds and artificial chemicals that have been added that are extremely toxic and bad for your health, and they have known this the entire time, and they have approved them for use.
The industry-wide secret butchers don't want you to know about. Major suppliers have been caught using a special product known as meat glue to stick together scraps of meat to sell as prime cuts. But while this product has been banned overseas, there's no law prohibiting its use here. Here's Rodney Lowe's with this special investigation.
It's the meat industry's dirty secret, a way of turning the scraps too small to sell as a premium steak back into a juicy, plump eye fillet to sell for a premium price. So clever, you'll never tell. Not even an expert can.
Before, you didn't even pick that as a join, though, did you?
It doesn't even tear through the join. A bit hard to tell, isn't it?
Butcher James Faulkner runs Queensland Natural Beef Company, an organisation dedicated to using as few additives in meat from paddock to plate as possible. But tonight, he's exposing how some parts of the industry are able to trick their customers and use whatever it takes.
Yeah. I've just got some fine diced beef and my special enzyme. I'm just going to mix it up a bit.
Why have we got the masks on?
This is dangerous. See that? Don't breathe that in.
This powder is transglutaminase enzyme, otherwise known as meat glue. Meat glues come in a number of forms, some produced by cultivating bacteria, the others, the primary ingredient comes from the blood plasma of pigs and cattle, specifically the coagulant which causes blood to clot. In the food industry, it has amazing properties.
So just got a little bit here, about a teaspoonful.
Yep.
Just over the top like that. And with our gloves on, of course, we mix it up.
Then roll it in plastic film and refrigerate. 6 hours later, you have a solid piece of meat.
And essentially, you've got a reborn, rebirthed thigh fillet.
More or less, yeah.
Ours uncooked is easy to spot the difference, but cooked is another story.
Okay, so the meat glue one is on the right, and the real McCoy is on the left.
And it's not just beef. Pork, lamb, fish and chicken are all stuck back together using this glue.
It looks like one piece of chicken.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep.
But hard to tell, isn't it?
Particularly that.
On the grill, it's even harder to pick.
So that's the real McCoy. Give this a burl. Nice and tender, nicely salted. All right, let's go for the meat glue. I can't tell the difference.
Pretty good, but potentially dangerous.
I've sort of got two concerns. One that is well publicised, which is misleading people. The other area is the microbial side.
It's why the European Union moved to ban meat glue in May last year. Microbiologist Glenn Pinner.
If this food is sold or represented as a solid piece of steak and you cook it rare, you're really leaving yourself open to get food poisoning.
Once you glue two pieces together, it's difficult to cook thoroughly those parts that were on the outside but are now on the inside.
The amount of bacteria on a steak that has been put together with meat glue is hundreds of times higher.
We had no idea how guarded a secret this was until we started contacting restaurateurs and butchers to ask them about the use of meat glue. Many of them didn't want to speak for fear of upsetting their suppliers, creating bad blood in an industry that has become very clever at using this product. Are you just shaking your head?
A little bit. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
This cube roll we bought from a wholesaler that produces stuck-together steaks en masse. Their effort's so good, James, our butcher, couldn't tell even when it was raw. It's even harder in the restaurant, which are some of the biggest users of glued meat. And chances are, unless you're a vegetarian, you're eating it on a regular basis. But with current labelling laws, neither butchers nor your local eatery have to tell you you're eating chicken glued together with cow's blood or beef held together by pig. It's the same reason they can take low-grade meat and pump it with water and flavour to make it edible.
Okay, so just after about a minute or two, we've got quite a lot of moisture out of there. And we've lost almost half a kilo.
Then the practice of selling mutton as lamb and old cow as prime cut beef. Like this. So old, a meat grader said it was only good for pet mince.
You've got yellow fat colour, really dark meat colour. It's definitely off a really old type of animal.
In New South Wales, new labelling regulations have just been introduced to help consumers choose quality meat. But it's not compulsory. So for most of us, picking a quality piece of meat is still a shot in the dark.
Let's start with aspartame. You cannot go to the grocery store now and buy any type of even regular sugar gum that hasn't had aspartame added to it. In the 1970s, Searle tried to get it approved, and they couldn't. It took them 3 separate times because in their own studies with monkeys, large portions of them that were fed it died and contracted cancer. Now we have mainstream news articles, and the EU has done a major study finding lower birth weights, early birth, and yes, miscarriages from women that drink aspartame-laden soft drinks like Coke Zero. What is aspartame? It is the fecal matter of the E. coli bacteria. They took it and genetically engineered it. They can feed it toxic waste, and then it defecates aspartame. And it has so many bad health effects, it's just unspeakable.
All kinds of neurological, neurodegenerative diseases are increasing, and it's all based on the fact that we just keep adding more and more toxic influences to the child, even before birth, but all the way through birth and throughout adulthood.
You know, every time you break one thing, it's not that aspartame is the only thing that is dangerous to people. There are thousands of things out there. But if you can break the cycle of that toxicity by pointing out one absurdity, of which aspartame is that, and then the following artificial sweeteners will be as well, then you begin, like in my experience, it's like, wow, you know, if they lied to me about this healing issue, what about everything else, or anything else?
Ultimately, the president of Monsanto, who had brought us NutraSweet, was on a transatlantic call talking to environmentalists from the U.S. and Britain and Europe, apologizing for having been insensitive in the pushing of genetically engineered foods down the throats of Europeans.
With all of the problems aspartame has had, you think they would have taken it off the market? They haven't. But I will tell you this, if aspartame was ephedra, you know ephedra's gone.
Never anywhere in the world one medically proven problem of health due to the use of stevia. You can't say that for those artificial sweeteners. You just can't say that. Some have been taken off the market because they lead to cancer, they do this, they do that. Then the FDA puts the brakes on and won't allow this.
Well, I'll buy a couple of barrels of this stuff then.
And just lock it up in your
Lock it up, yeah, and then sell it. You want some hot stevia? Hey, man, this is the real stuff.
If aspartame was tryptophan, one death, one problem, one accusation, one allegation, tryptophan is gone.
One of the things that political scientists say quite frequently is that very shortly after a regulatory agency is created, it gets captured by those that it regulates. That's kind of what people say that repeatedly. And I think they're totally wrong. I believe they're born captured.
If you did that with vitamin C, tomorrow vitamin C would be gone.
And so the chemical industry is always trying to find ways to stick their chemicals into us without doing proper testing.
The food that we're eating now, the food that we're buying in the stores are killing us. Diabetes, cancer, heart problems, it's all coming from the bad foods that we get in our grocery stores.
What's left to eat now? I mean, realistically, what are we supposed to eat?
I have people that come to me, oh, my doctor just gave me 4 months to live, and I want to live. I go, are you sure?